It was a sunny afternoon in downtown Los Angeles. The streets glimmered under the harsh summer light, and inside a high-end diamond boutique called Diamond Grace, everything sparkled. From the chandelier above to the glass cases below, filled with rings and necklaces worth more than some people's homes. Tyler, the boutique manager, a man in his early 40s with slicked back hair and a tailored gray suit, was chatting animatedly with a well-dressed woman browsing a diamond tennis bracelet. "You wear this to a gala, people won't see anyone else," he said smoothly, flashing his perfect teeth. The woman laughed, clearly enjoying the attention. Then the little silver bell above the entrance jingled, and everything went quiet for a beat. An elderly woman had stepped in. She looked to be around 75. She wore a faded trench coat over a floral sweater, worn-out jeans, and canvas sneakers that had seen better days. A wool scarf was tied loosely around her neck, and her gray hair was tucked messily under a knitted beanie. She walked in slowly, eyes scanning the glittering showcases with a kind of calm curiosity. Tyler's smile dropped, just slightly. A few staff exchanged looks. One young employee leaned toward another and whispered, "Did she walk in from the street? Or the shelter?" The elderly woman took another step inside. Her shoes squeaked softly against the boutique's marble floor. Tyler quickly gestured to one of the junior assistants. "Gently, get her out of here." The assistant approached with a practiced customer service smile. "Hi, ma'am. This store carries high-value items. Were you looking for a specific location?" The old woman paused and smiled warmly. "I'm just here to pick something up," she said in a calm, clear voice. Tyler watched her with vague annoyance as she walked straight to the central display, the one with the high-security case. Inside was a 5-carat emerald-cut diamond necklace surrounded by smaller accent stones, the kind of piece that sells for upwards of $200,000. She leaned in. "This one. I believe this is mine." One of the staff nearly laughed. Tyler stepped forward, trying to remain polite. "I'm sorry, ma'am. That piece is one of our most exclusive items. It's probably not what you're looking for." But the old woman was unfazed. She reached into her worn canvas tote and pulled out a folded sheet of paper and a slim leather envelope. She handed them to Tyler. He sighed and took the paper, glancing at it out of obligation, then froze. It was an order confirmation, issued by Diamond Grace headquarters, with an official seal. The client name matched a reservation placed 3 months ago for that exact necklace, paid partially with a $50,000 deposit. Tyler blinked, then checked the envelope. Inside was a cashier's check for the remaining balance, $182,500, and her name was on all of it. The room fell into stunned silence. "I came to collect it today," she said gently, as agreed. Tyler suddenly felt sweat beat along his temples. Every pair of eyes in the boutique was now fixed on him, not her. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't a joke. And the woman they all ignored was about to walk out with the most expensive diamond in the room. Tyler stared down at the official paperwork and cashier's check in his hands, every cell in his body screaming to stay composed. He'd dealt with celebrities, politicians' wives, and Hollywood elites, but never had he misjudged a customer this badly. The elderly woman stood patiently, her soft eyes scanning the room. Not judging, just observing. Her tone remained calm, almost amused. "So, is the necklace ready for pickup?" One of the junior staff, the same girl who tried to usher her out, was now frozen, cheeks red with embarrassment. Another assistant slowly retreated to the back room to prepare the order. Tyler cleared his throat. "Yes, ma'am. Of course. I apologize for the confusion. May I offer you something to drink while we finalize the packaging?" She smiled, not unkindly. "A glass of water would be nice." He scrambled to bring it himself. The woman sat on one of the leather stools near the custom collection area. Slowly, she untied her scarf and tucked it neatly into her coat. Her presence, once perceived as odd, now felt commanding. The junior assistant leaned into Tyler. "Sir, her name, look. She pointed to the reservation form. Margaret E. Langston. Tyler's stomach dropped. That name rang a distant bell, but not from Hollywood gossip. He opened his phone discreetly under the counter, typed into Google, Margaret E. Langston, Langston Holdings. Articles flooded the screen. Langston Holdings, a low-profile investment firm that quietly funded some of the biggest real estate developments in California. A group of private philanthropists. One of their primary founders? Margaret Langston, a former economist and private equity advisor. Net worth? Estimated over 120 million. She wasn't just rich, she was wealthy and discreet. Tyler felt faint. Meanwhile, the diamond necklace had been brought out, cleaned, and placed in its velvet box. The assistant trembled slightly as she laid it before the old woman. Margaret examined it quietly, like someone admiring a painting, not a price tag. She reached into her bag again and handed Tyler a small envelope. This is a handwritten thank you note for the artisan who crafted this. Tyler opened it. Inside was a short letter, thoughtful, elegant, praising the craftsmanship, and a $5,000 tip addressed to the design team. Everyone in the boutique was speechless. Margaret slowly stood, now holding the box in both hands. She looked around the room, her gaze calm but sharp. I've visited over 12 diamond boutiques this year, she said. This one had the piece I wanted, but also the coldest welcome I've ever received. No one spoke. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. I don't mind the stares, she continued, but I do hope someday you'll all learn that wealth doesn't always wear designer shoes. And with that, she turned and walked out the same door she entered through. Silence lingered for long seconds after. Tyler slowly sank into his chair. Then one of the staff whispered, Sir, I think we just lost her entire network of clients. Tyler nodded, his jaw clenched. He knew. 3 days had passed since Margaret Langston walked out of Diamond Grace. Inside the boutique, the atmosphere had shifted dramatically. The staff moved quieter, more cautious. No more side glances at customers' outfits. No more quick judgments. Tyler, usually confident and charming, now wore a strained face. He barely smiled, barely spoke. The memory of Margaret's calm voice still echoed in his mind. Wealth doesn't always wear designer shoes. It wasn't just shame, it was the fallout. Since that day, 3 major clients from their elite referral circle had canceled appointments. No explanation, just silence. Tyler knew why. Margaret hadn't screamed or threatened. She had simply existed and left. But it didn't end there. That morning, an envelope arrived for Tyler. Hand-delivered, no return address. He opened it, heart pounding. Inside, a single card with embossed gold lettering. Langston Philanthropy Foundation. Changing lives, not headlines. On the back was a short note, handwritten in black ink. We were considering your store as a long-term partner for our annual charity auction. But after my recent visit, I've decided to go with someone else. Kind regards, M. Langston. Tyler sat down hard. That auction was a big deal. Televised, attended by celebrities, and always featured in the luxury press. He had just lost what could have been the store's biggest opportunity of the year. He buried his face in his hands. A junior employee hesitated nearby. Sir, would you like me to? Tyler raised a hand. No, I'll handle this myself. That afternoon, dressed in a modest navy blazer, he walked 4 blocks to a mid-rise building in the Arts District. The address listed on the card. Langston Philanthropy Foundation sat quietly on the 3rd floor. No flashy signs, no luxury decor. Just warm wood, soft lighting, and a waiting area with books about education, housing, and environmental aid. The receptionist, a young man with kind eyes, looked up. Good afternoon, can I help you? Tyler introduced himself, gently explained he was hoping to apologize in person to Ms. Langston. The receptionist smiled sympathetically. Ms. Langston isn't here today, but... He gestured to the wall behind him. Tyler turned and froze. It was a gallery of framed photos and articles, each showing Margaret Langston over the years. Handing keys to a family moving into a new home, cutting ribbons at school fundraisers, standing beside city mayors, hugging children. She had built shelters, funded cancer research, donated libraries, quietly, without press. But one photo made Tyler step closer. It was from over 25 years ago. A woman in a smart navy coat holding a newborn outside a modest house. Next to her was a man. Her husband? Behind them was a tiny store sign. Diamond Grace, grand opening. Tyler's hands trembled. It couldn't be. He turned to the receptionist. This store? The man nodded. She and her late husband helped fund the original Diamond Grace back in the 90s. Silent partners. She still checks in, though she never wants credit. Said luxury should never forget humility. Tyler's breath caught. He hadn't just mistreated a wealthy woman. He had insulted one of the original founders of the very company he worked for. That evening, he returned to the store with a pale face and heavy steps. In his office, he quietly opened his drawer and placed Margaret's thank you note beside his laptop. Then he wrote something of his own. A letter. Not asking for forgiveness, but thanking her for the lesson. A promise to never judge a customer by their shoes or their coat or their voice again. He sealed the envelope, addressed it carefully, and placed it in the outgoing mail tray. For the first time in days, he looked in the mirror and didn't smile. But maybe, just maybe, he had changed.